Good morning and welcome. I'd love you to be sitting comfortably, probably not lying down, but if you feel the need to lie down, then do so. But if you can sit comfortably cross-legged, otherwise a chair, or with your legs out in front, or, there's all kinds of variations. Learning to sit comfortably without a chair, since chairs have actually become the bane of our how would I like to describe it? The bane of our physical demise. I'm going to say that word because most chairs are not supporting us in an ergonomic way. So enough about that. Yoga for the senses. Now, first of all, any seasoned practitioner of yoga understands that asana is just the third rung of Ashtanga yoga. Ashta means 8, Anga means limbs. So when we're climbing that yogic ladder and that asana, postures, is number 3, we have yamas and niyamas as our first and second rungs of the ladder. These are personal and outward observances. So they're very much like the 10 Commandments, but we don't have time to go into those now. I would love to in another way at another time. I will, because they're really important. And then after the physical, the next rung up is pranayama. Now, the breath can be, obviously, physiologically, the breath is the difference between life and death. Psychologically, we can manipulate, but actually I want to use manipulation more with our emotional bodies, but psychologically, when we get more oxygen to our brain, clearly we can think clear, we can be more focused, and emotionally, we can truly manipulate our emotions. So there can be up to a 40% variance if we need to mitigate feelings of anger, fear, sadness, and we can increase our joy. So this is important. And then spiritually, when we're talking about breathing, breath control, the 4th rung of Ashtanga yoga, the 8 limbs of yoga, as designated by Patanjali. Spiritually, the breath is the gateway. It is the key that unlocks the deeper dimensions of who we are. I bring this up because our outside world is getting a little bit crazy, if not a lot. And it's times like these that being able to soften our sensory perception. And while we're talking about this, I want to say a couple of things, because if your eyes are closed, good on you. And if they're open, it's good too, because the eyes, of course, see, determine, judge, compare. The eyes are actually associated with the brain. But if your eyes are closed and you're just listening with your ears, ears don't have the kind of judgment, comparison that the eyes have. So and they're also, ears are connected with the heart. So as I say, when we can minimize our senses that we need in the outside world, we need them if we're going to cross the street, we need them if we're driving a car, we need them when we're making dinner, and we're, using sharp knives or the stove. We need our senses. But if we're going to live in balance, we also need to turn our senses inward. And yoga offers us many pathways in. I was listening to a podcast by Brene Brown, and I'm sure many of you know Brene Brown. She studies shame, she studies vulnerability, but last night she said, how in the world can we discover our truth when we're just too darn busy? No time for reflection, no time for deep thinking, deep feeling. I understand why we don't want to do that sometimes. It might bring up stuff that we don't want to deal with. But trust me, the issues will be in the tissues. What we resist persists. What the mind represses, the body expresses. I've given you a lot to chew on, and I apologize if it's overwhelming. But I guess probably I'm feeling a lot these days with what's going on in the world, and I truly want to find the balance. And so let's just start. However you're sitting, if you need to move something, please don't ever suffer in my classes by holding a position that's uncomfortable. So first off, let's start with the eyes. Remember I told you the eyes are connected to the brain, and they do a lot of critiquing, a lot, right? We look in the mirror, we critique. We look at somebody else, we judge. It just, nonstop. So let's just soften our gaze, neither staring or focusing. So just find somewhere, just a spot, something that's pleasant. If you're practicing with somebody you love, really look at them, neither focusing nor staring. There can be, remember that song, The Look of Love? Okay. Now, another way we can soften our gaze is by taking our palms, and we've done this before, rub them vigorously, generating heat and warmth. Feel that. Close your eyes if they're not already, and then cup your palms over your eyes, bathing them in this blue-black warmth. Check in with your shoulders here. Take them down. Maybe you need to sit up a little straighter. Allow your shoulder blades to move down your back. Lovely. And then wash the sides of your face with your hands. And then place your hands wherever it's comfortable, on your lap, on your thighs. So now that your eyes are comfortable, let's check in with our faces and our mouths, especially. We hold a lot of tension in our jaws. So let your lips part. Let your tongue float in Shavasana. And separate the biting surfaces of your teeth if they're not already. And because we're not active right now, imagine that your skin is just draped over your body. It's only when we're active that our muscles are pushing against the skin. Last week we practiced alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana. This balances the right and left hemisphere of the brain. It lowers blood pressure, calms your entire system. It virtually activates your parasympathetic nervous system. Today, we're going to practice what's called Yujayi Pranayama. It's also called victorious breath or ocean breath, because it sounds like the ocean. Now, it's really easy, so keep your eyes closed. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to breathe in through your nose, and I want you to exhale, with your mouth open. Inhale through your nose. Exhale. Notice the restriction in your throat as you do this. 2 more times. Inhale through your nose. Last time. Inhale through your nose. And now exhale through your mouth with your mouth open. Now we're going to do this with your mouth closed, but you're going to keep the same shape in the back of your throat. So go ahead, inhale, lips together. You can hear that ha sound, right? Inhaling. I'm hoping you can hear my ha sound through my mic. So just continue at your own pace here, inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your nose, but making the ha sound. Please continue. This Yujai breathing is a tranquilizing breath. Try it. If you have to use tranquilizers once in a while, try this breathing. You're not going to know by me telling you. Yoga is experiential. It's only with practice that you get the bones, that you get the juju, that you get the magic, that you get the benefits. So it's a tranquilizing breath. It relieves insomnia. Can we have the ding, 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 ding? Anybody out there having trouble sleeping? It lowers your blood pressure. It slows your heart rate. And how about this one? Increases psychic energy. Well, that could be useful in the crypto market or whatever it is you might need psychic ability to know what your kids are up to. So Yujai breathing. So you can do this anytime. You can even do this while we practice today. So you're inhaling and exhaling through your nose, but you're making that ha sound at the level of the throat. So today, when we start our practice, which we're about to do, I invite you to spend a little more time withdrawing the senses from the outside, and that would be pratyahara. The 5th limb of yoga is withdrawal of the senses. We should put our phones away. We should stop looking at anything and just listen to my voice. Come on over onto your backs. Lying down, draw your knees up in towards your chest and just gently rock out the lower back. With your hands on your knees, widen them. Really cover as much territory as you can, either rocking from side to side, rolling, making circles. Check in, notice. All right, bring your knees together and take your arms out to the side. I have a feeling that knees are together, arms are out at the side, shoulder height. You just go ahead. I'm getting up for a moment because I noticed that Tech Guy doesn't have his mat. Now, with both knees, thighs, and feet glued together. Please glue them together. Do not let them separate. I don't care how far you go down. Glue them together. Your arms are out at the side, shoulder height. Your palms can be facing down, which will give you a little more grip, or up, whatever your shoulders feel happy with, or check out the difference. Inhale, in place. Now, engage your core. Pull your bellies in. You're going to work your core here. Take both the knees over to the left. Keep those feet together and keep your opposite shoulder on the mat. So your knees are to the left and your right shoulder is glued to the mat. And you're slowly taking both knees over. Now inhale, slowly come back to center. If you come slowly, you'll work your abs, you'll work your core. And then slowly taking both knees over to the other side, keeping the opposite shoulder on the mat. So this is a beautiful stretch for the ribs, for the shoulders, the armpit, basically the side of your body, and then slowly bring your knees that are glued together back to center. Feel those abs working. If you go slow, you'll feel it. If you go fast, you miss it. It's kind of like life. We need to slow things down. Take both knees now, once again, back over to the left. Turn your head to the right. We're also increasing some mobility in the lower back here, gently awakening. Did you get a little further this time with your twist? Inhale, slowly. Really make this as slow as you can. Life moves fast enough. We need to slow things down. You notice months, the calendar just goes by so quickly. And yet, if we can slow things down, taking your knees over to the right side, head can turn to the left. Do you ever notice if you're not busy one day and you just start to be instead of do, your day stretches. It feels longer. It feels more spacious. This is what I want for you. This is what I want for me. We all want more time. Inhale, come back to center. And this will be the last time you're going to take both knees over to the left, head to the right. Your right shoulder still stays on the mat. And you're slowly lowering both knees. Some of you may be on the floor. That is not the goal. You're going to feel a good stretch though through the underarm of the right arm, stretching your rib cage. Inhale, come back to center. Last time, slowly. Both knees over to the right, head to the left. Notice the increase in the range of mobility in your lower back just from doing this 3 times on each side. Inhale slowly. You might even feel your upper abs engage if you go slow enough. And you make your senses, bring them closer to your body. If your eyes are closed, you can go inside and notice. All right. Take your feet to the edges of your mat with your knees still bent. Knees are still bent. Feet are flat on the floor and they're going to stay on the edges of your mat. So a couple toes will be off the mat, but most of your foot is on the mat. Okay, inhale here, exhale, lower both knees to the left, both knees to the left. Feel the stretch now in that right outer thigh, your IT band right up into your hip, your haunches. Feel it. Breathe. Anybody practicing Yujayi here? If I wasn't talking, I could. But I can't while I'm talking, but go ahead and practice your victorious breath. And it alkalizes the oxygen inside of you, which is a good thing. Now inhale, slowly bring your knees back to center. Your feet are stationary as you now tilt both knees over to the right, stretching out the right or the left IT band. So your back leg, you can feel that. There's not a whole lot going on in the front right knee and thigh, but there's something going on in your left thigh, hip. So you're working it down, and inhale, back to center. Exhale, both knees once again over to the left. Now pick up your left foot and place your ankle on top of the right knee. Always practice with awareness, respect, and compassion. Remember, if anything I'm asking you or any other yoga teacher asks you to do and it doesn't feel safe or it causes pain, please modify it. Just don't even do it. Listen to your bodies. Feel what you're stretching here. Try to relax what can be relaxed. Using your breath, stay present and oxygenate every cell. And then remove that foot, place it at the edge of your mat, slowly come back to center. That's an intense stretch. So we don't want to snap out of it. We want to slowly release the stretch. And then come on over to the other side. And with both knees now to the right, lift up your right ankle and place that on top of your left knee. And just breathe. And if you feel like making a ha sound with an open mouth at any time, I know the Zoom classes aren't the same as being in person. It's not lost on me. I miss you guys. But while you're at home, take advantage of being able to make any sounds, any kind of release. Know that making sounds helps you release tension, stress from body and mind. Lovely. Release that foot and place it back flat on the floor. Keep your knees bent. Bring your heels a little closer to you and align them with your sits bones. And then bring your arms beside your body, palms face down. Lift your shoulder blades up and off the floor. Tuck them under. Tilt your chin towards the center of your chest. Maybe bring your heels and feet just a little bit closer to your sits bones. And reach your fingertips down towards your heels. And now roll on your sacrum and press now into your lower back as you tilt your pelvis up and peel your spine off the floor. Lifting up hips, pressing your thighs up, compressing at the throat area. Squeezing any kind of toxins, even maybe withheld feelings. We want to squeeze everything out that doesn't belong, that's not serving us. And then as we slowly bring the torso back onto the mats, allow fresh arterial blood to rush into the area. Release the lower back. Tilt your tailbone into the floor, which will create a whole lot of space underneath the small of your back. And one more time, roll on your sacrum, press the small of your back into the floor, pull your navel in towards your inner spine. Feel the engagement as you peel your spine off the floor, lifting up, pressing up as high as you can. Can you bring straight arms under the body, interlock the fingers so the knuckles point towards the heels, do a little rocking from side to side, bringing your shoulder blades, your scapulas, as close together as possible. If your arms are not flat on the floor, then you're not going to bring your torso down onto your arms. You either release your arms or just stay in the bridge position, or release your arms out to the side. Everybody, let's bring the torso down onto the arms or your mats, whatever the case may be. You may wish to walk your heels in a little closer here. Once again, lift, press up, reaching up. Exhale, slowly lower down. I know when I go for my walks and listen to the podcasts that I listen to, and I listened to CBC ideas during that walk that you saw that I showed you a picture of. It was on laughter. I want to recommend that to you. And it was so, if you know ideas with Nella Ayad, used to be with Paul Kennedy, that is worthwhile radio listening. Inhale, press your torso up. In fact, share any great podcasts that you listen to with me, and I will pass them around after I've listened to them. And one more time, lower your torso onto your arms, really opening up the front of the body. Last time, lift the torso up, release your arms, and slowly bring it all the way back down. Yeah. And then draw your knees up into your chest. Pull them in. Maybe you can bring your arms all the way around your legs so that you're hugging your knees into your chest, pressing on your transverse colon. I am gearing up for that gut biome talk that I want to have with you. The importance, there are more brain cells in your gut than there are in your head. You've heard that before. So that's why we need to listen sometimes to this area of our body. If we're feeling something in our stomach, there's something going on, we need to pay attention to it. There's a tremendous wisdom in the body. I have a book called The Wisdom of the Body. I have hundreds of books, and books are some of my best friends. Okay, as they probably are yours as well. All righty. Let's bring the hands underneath the backs of the thighs, and let's rock up and come on over onto all fours. We're going to do a little core work, balancing. Okay, we'll just do a couple of cat-cows here. We all know what they are. So let's exhale, round the back, drop the tail, tuck the chin, pull your bellies in. Inhale. Hollow out your lower back, lift your tail, lengthen through your neck. Eyes are looking up at your third eye, Ajna chakra, the seat of intuition. Exhale, round your spine. Drop your tail, tuck your chin, pull your bellies in. Inhale, hollow out your lower back, lift your tail. Lengthen through your neck, lifting your hearts. Feel the stretch in through the chest and belly area. And let's come back to neutral. Now make sure your knees are underneath your hips, possibly even a little closer together. We're going to do some core work and balance. We're going to extend the right leg out behind us. So make that parallel with your torso as best you can. And then balancing on the right hand, you're going to lift the left arm straight out in front. Keep your neck aligned with your spine. Take both arm and leg out to respective sides. Back in front. Back out to the sides. Back in front. And release. Extend the opposite leg out behind you. Now the foot can be pointed or flexed. It should be mostly one or the other, only because that engages more of your muscles so that you're not asking one muscle to do all the work. You're getting them all joining in the fun. Okay, extend your right arm out in front. So your left leg, whatever it is, opposite leg, opposite arm. And you can either flex or point. Okay. Inhale, in place, exhale, out to the sides, inhale to the front, exhale to the sides, Inhale to the front and back. Exhale to the sides, back to the front, and bring it all down. Take your knees wide apart. Big toes touch. Flatten the tops of your feet. Remember, if you're prone to any cramping in your feet, go slow. Take your buttocks slowly back towards your heels. Slow, slow, slow. Remember, if you have knee issues, bending them too much, you can bring the knees up under the hips and come into puppy pose, which is keeping your bum up in the air. And then releasing your torso towards the floor. If it's accessible, release your forehead onto the mat. If you need height, then place your forearms one on top of the other, and release your forehead onto your forearms. And remember, 70% of the action of breathing will be felt and noticed in the side and back ribs. So breathe into this area, exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. One more inhale and let it all go. Inhaling, come up, curl your toes under, lift your hips up, keep your knees soft. Bring your ears beside your arms. Let's walk the dog. One leg bent, the other one straight, feeling the stretch in the back of your leg. Last week we talked about ankles and feet. This is important. Now, on the bent leg, you can really press those toes into the floor and stretch your plantar fascia. And if you missed that class, I hope you looked at the replay. They're unlisted. They're only available for you and any people that you love that you want to share it with. And then let's change. So on the straight leg side, you're stretching the back of your knee, your calves, your Achilles tendon. On the bent leg side, if you really come up onto your toes, so even the ball of your foot is barely touching the floor, you're giving your plantar fascia a good stretch. And let's change again, just one more time on each side. Relax your neck. If you're holding it in any kind of awkward or uncomfortable position, just relax it and change. Let the weight of your head kind of give a little bit of a stretch to your cervical vertebra. Okay, now walk your feet towards your hands. And keep your knees soft. Let your belly and your chest rest on your thighs. Please let your head hang. Let your arms hang. Oh, give your head a shake. This releases the pressure of gravity on your spine, sends more blood flow to your head, because now your heart is higher than your head. Normally your head is higher than your heart. So inversions are your best friend, as Mr. Iyengar likes to say. All right, but let's slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. Keep your chin tucked into your chest. Let your head be the last thing to come up. Oh, yeah. How are you feeling? Okay, so let's do our sun salutations. Give your legs a good shake out. Come up to the fronts of your mats. Inhale, exhale, hands in prayer. Step your feet apart. Arms up, reach up, look up, and arc back. Feel that stretch through the front of your body. You may even be feeling the muscles of your abs that you were using when you were sweeping your knees from side to side. Inhale, bring your feet back together. Lift up out of your waist. Fold from your hips. If you're able to, close your eyes at any time during this class. This will help you go inside. This will help reduce distraction. Let your heads hang. Step your right foot back. Drop your knee to the mat. Bring your hands onto your left knee. You can stay here, or if you want to take your back knee off the floor, focus your gaze on the wall or the floor. Lift the back knee off the floor and then push through that back heel. Once again, strengthening ankles and stretching that plantar fascia. Now, remember the U in your back that starts below the bra, sort of between the middle and lower back. That's where I want you to begin the U shape of your arms. Start from the middle of your back. This keeps your shoulders from reaching up and your rib cage from poking out. Breathing. Yujai breath. Turn your hands forward, spread your fingers apart, bring your hands to the floor, take your front foot back, come on into your push-up or plank position. Remember, if this is too much on your wrists, drop your knees to the floor, lift your feet off and cross at the ankles. Engage your core here, reach to the crown of your head, press through your heels, press all 10 fingers into the mat. Breathe. All 10 fingers, which means you're engaging more of your forearm muscles. When you engage your abs, you protect your lower back. Breathing. Release your knees. Flatten the tops of your feet by pressing your toes back. Take your buttocks way back. Release your forearms and elbows onto the mat. Stay nice and low here. You're already low. Take your time. I know this can be very awkward, especially for people with tight upper backs, tight chests. Come slowly forward and then release your chin onto the mat. And slide everything out behind you. Let's prepare for baby cobra. Align your fingertips with the edges of your shoulders. Place your forehead on the mat. Bring your elbows into your side body and press your forearms down towards the floor. Toes are pointing backwards. Tops of the feet are flat on your mat. Roll an invisible alley with your nose without using your hands to lift. Use the muscles of your back. Coming up into baby cobra. Breathing. Excellent for spinal integrity and alignment. Excellent for strengthening the 4 layers of muscles that support and protect your spine. And this compression also helps to squeeze wastes and toxins out of our stress glands, our adrenals. They are so important and they work really hard to try and keep our bodies calm. And of course, prepare us when we need to get excited and we need to move. Inhale one more time, lifting up. Exhale, come on all the way down. Forehead on the mat. Curl your toes under. Keep your elbows in towards your side body. Press up onto your knees and then lift your hips up. Walk your feet a few inches forward. Bend your knees. Remember to press all 10 fingers into the mat, especially your baby fingers and your thumbs. And then as your knees are bent, you're pressing your belly onto your thighs. You're pressing your heart, your chest towards your knees. This has a nice lengthening effect on your spine. Align your ears with your inner arms. And now press your heels as you press your sits bones towards the back wall, heels towards the floor. Your legs may not straighten. Ça ne fait rien. It doesn't matter. But feel that stretch in the backs of your legs. Feel the energy surging through your body, earth telluric energy surging up through the soles of your feet and the palms of your hands. This is also an inversion too, extra blood supply headed towards your noggin. Lift your right leg up and look at your right hand and swing that foot as far forward as you can. Look, if it didn't go very far, pick it up at the ankle and move it to the front. Bring the other leg forward, and now you're in standing forward bend, Uttanasana. Please relax your head, your neck. Let your head just hang off. Bring your arms beside your ears. Engage your thighs by lifting up on your kneecaps. Now really notice your feet. Are you pressing into your big toe mount, your baby toe mount in the center front of your heel? Pull your bellies in towards your lower spine. You're galvanized now to sweep the torso right in front, arms up, reaching up, stretching up, looking up, feet apart, arcing back. Inhaling, feet come back together. Lift up out of your waist. Exhale with a flat back. Reach and stretch as you fold forward. Let your heads hang. Bend your knees a little bit. Sweep the arms out to the side. Reach up and overhead, palms together. Exhale, keeping your hands in prayer. Bring them down to the center of your chest. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. Exhale. Hands in prayer. Step your feet apart, arms up, reach up, look up and arc back. Inhale, bring your feet back together, lift up out of your waist, hinge from your hips, the tops of your legs, flat back, reach forward, fingertips to the floor, head hangs. Step your left leg back, drop the knee to the mat, bring your hands onto your front thigh. If you're lifting that knee off the floor, inhale, press the heel back. Remember, when your arms come up, your U starts at the bottom middle of your back. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Your high lunge. Fingers are active. You're holding something. I guess a beach ball looks like what you'd be holding. Shoulders stay down, rib cage stays in. Eyes are focused. Breathing, press through that back heel. It's the anchor of the posture. Turn your hands forward, spread your fingers apart, bring them onto the mat. Take that front leg back, draw your heart center towards your thumbs. Press all 10 fingers into the mat. Reach forward with the crown of your head. Engage your abdomen. Pull your bellies in, holding the pose, but not holding your breath. So breathe. Your muscles really need your oxygen right now. Don't deny them. And then release your knees to the mat. Flatten the tops of your feet so your toes are pointing backwards. Slowly come back. There was a professor at a university in Italy who was working with two groups of mountaineers. So you're taking your butt way back towards your heels. He had a control group that did nothing. He had another group that practiced slow breathing for 2 years. After the 2-year period, release your elbows to the floor and slowly come forward. Stay nice and low. So all of these mountaineers climbed Mount Everest. They found with the group that practiced slow breathing, bring your chin to the floor. They found that the people who practiced slow breathing for 2 years did not need oxygen to get to the summit. Slide everything back. They also were preparing for Bhujangasana here, Cobra. They also used 70% of the surface lung area to get more oxygen into their tissues. And that was just by practicing a slower way of breathing. This is just one example of a few that I'm going to give you. Okay, we can try the fuller expression if we want to now, or you can stay with baby cobra depending on what your lower back feels like today. You can also widen your feet and press your baby toes into the mat. That just sort of broadens the area of the lower back that doesn't have a whole lot of flexibility, or you can keep the feet behind you. But at any rate, everybody roll an invisible alley with your nose. You're looking straight down at the mat. Your shoulders are away from your ears and your elbows are tight into your body and your forearms are, if not on the mat, moving closer to the mat. On an inhale, everybody's lifting up. Baby cobra, there's no pressure in the hands, but the fuller expression of cobra lets us press and push the floor away from us. Let that natural curve of the spine extend through the neck so the eyes are looking up towards your third eye, Ajna Chakra. Don't let your elbows wing out. Don't let your shoulders creep up towards your ears. Most of us will have bent elbows. Not very many people can straighten their arms and not lose the integrity of this posture. Or if you do straighten your arms, you're probably coming up more into upward facing dog. One more breath in. Exhale, lengthen as you lower all the way down. Curl your toes under, lift your hips up, walk your feet a few inches forward, bend your knees, press your belly to your thighs, press all 10 fingers into the mat, press your chest, your heart towards your knees. Notice the lengthening effect in your spine. And now press your sits bones towards the back wall as you press your heels towards the floor. Breathe into the stretch in the backs of your legs. Notice how much energy, once again, I said this the first time, I want you to notice this is an energizing posture. There are many, many, many benefits. It stretches out the lower back. It stretches, obviously, the backs of the legs, stretches the feet, strengthens the ankles. Your ankles are now flexing forward. If we don't use the full range of mobility of the ankles, we'll lose it. You know the expression, use it or lose it. Well, it's true with your ankles and every other part of your body. Lift that left leg up in the air. Look at your left hand. Swing that foot as far forward as you can. Remember, if it doesn't go too far, pick it up at the ankle and then move it towards the front. Other leg comes forward and let your head hang. Arms beside your ears. Engage your thighs by lifting up on your kneecaps. Pull your bellies in to protect your lower back. On an inhale, sweep the arms and torso straight out in front, reaching up, looking up, feet apart for balance, arcing back. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up. Exhale, hands in prayer, and bring them down to your chest and come on down onto your backs. Take a sip of water if you need. We haven't done the queen posture of yoga in this entire session yet. This is called shoulder stand. Now, if you feel timid of trying to do a shoulder stand, there are a couple things you could do. One of them is to place a block or some kind of cushion if you don't have a block yet, but I do recommend you acquire some blocks. I don't know how long this pandemic's going on for. And you can place that block underneath your sacrum and simply just lift your legs up in the air. This will suffice, at least for now, to start to begin to get the benefits of inverting. Most of us don't really have a spare wall, but if you do have a spare wall where you can take your mat to, again, this is if you're timid, to try shoulder stand, and you might do this after class or anytime you feel like it, just take your butt over to the wall and try to climb your legs, get your legs up the wall, and it can just feel safer. It's kind of like when you used to do handstands, you do them up against the wall. It feels safer than doing a free style handstand. Okay, so if you're ready to try shoulder stand, we'll start with the half version, Ardha. So hands are beside your body with your palms facing down. Your knees are bent, and we're going to lift the legs up and over behind the head, and just let them hang over behind the head and support your hips. Support your hips. So your hands are on your hips, and your legs are just dangling over behind you. And then maybe you could bend your knees and drop your knees towards your forehead. And then bring your hands up a little higher on your back. Now, by all means, you don't have to straighten your legs. You can keep your legs exactly where they are. You can stay in half shoulder stand. Or as I said, if this isn't feeling good, then you can put the block underneath your sacrum and just get your legs up high. And now, those of us who are going for the fuller expression, I have this nasty little mic box that I have to navigate. I'll wire it up here. So holding the legs up, take the legs wide apart and slowly, carefully lower them down over behind your head. Don't go any further or do anything that doesn't feel safe. Slowly lowering. Shoulder stand is called the queen position of yoga because it reverses the flow of blood and increases the blood supply to all of your most vital organs and glands. Bring the legs back up, wide apart. One more time, bringing them down over behind the head. Inhale, bring the legs up, bring them together. Bring the left knee to the left ear. And back up. Right knee to right ear. And back up. Slowly lower the legs over behind the head. Release the hands to the floor. And with as much control as possible, lower the legs all the way and the torso back down onto your mats. And if you can, lower the legs slowly onto your mats. Okay. Inhaling in place. Exhale, draw the right knee up, interlock your fingers 2 inches below, and let's point the foot, flex, point, flex, point, flex, rotate at the ankle, lubricating all of these joints. Remember, 1/4 of the body's bones, of the 206 bones, are in your feet and ankles. And then with your left hand on the outside of your right knee, draw it across the body, just releasing the lower back here and giving a good stretch now to the hip, thigh, and glutes. Right arm is out to the right side. If you're not feeling enough, and you don't want to feel too much, but you want to feel something, but if you're not feeling enough, draw the knee a little higher up towards your chest. Keep a little pressure and breathe into that hip and thigh. I am feeling this about as much as I want to feel it. So that's what I want for you too. Breathe into this area. This is a great release for and prevention for sciatica. Your sciatic nerve is the largest nerve in the body. It's about as wide as your baby finger, which is why when it's irritated, you're irritated. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, lower the leg down in front and bang out the back of the knee. Inhale, in place. Exhale, draw the other knee up. Interlock your fingers 2 inches below the knee. Let's point the foot and flex. Point, flex, point, flex, point, and flex. Rotate. Change the direction. And with your right hand on the outside of your left knee, draw it across the body. Extend your left arm out to the left side. And again, adjust the position to maximize the greatest amount of release of tension from the hip. Remember, we referred to this as a junk drawer, place where we stuff the stuff we don't know what to do with, or the stuff we don't make time to deal with. And by the way, it's great to tell the truth, even if the truth isn't pretty. The truth sets us free. So, you know, I'm dealing with a bunch of stuff in my life, as are you. Everybody's dealing with stuff. You can tell it to yourself, tell it to someone who cares, put it on paper, at least tell the truth. Don't stuff it. Don't deny it. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't blame yourself. Don't shame yourself. And don't blame or shame anybody else. Do your best every day to show up with your best self by taking care of your body, eating a proper diet, getting good night's sleep. You'll have the energy to tackle what you need to do, and then be sure and try to balance what you're doing with how you are being. And then inhale, come back to center, extend that leg down in front and bang out the back of the knee. Turn your palms up for a moment and just let your body be. Let the benefits of your performance be integrated before we do a couple of more postures. Straighten yourself out if you need to. Bring the knees up in towards the chest. Bring your hands underneath the backs of your thighs. Rock up to a seated position. Let's stay on the floor. Let's bring the soles of the feet together into Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose, or cobbler's pose. This is the way a lot of cobblers would sit in India. But you can, if you want, flap your wings just a little bit. But hold your feet together. If your knees are quite far down, then begin to open the soles of your feet the way you would a book. If your knees are up around your shoulders, take your feet a little bit further out in front of you. Keep them together and hold on to your ankles or your calves, okay? Wherever they are, let's inhale, lift our hearts, and let's exhale and fold forward. Stretching out the inner thighs. I just had a look at the clock. I want to do one more twist position, okay? I hope you don't schedule things too soon after the class. I want you to slow down. We all need to slow down, okay? And have more time and space. Take your left foot, I'm doing the mirror image, place it outside of your right knee. Interlock your fingers 2 inches below the knee and pull the torso up towards the thigh. Place your left hand behind you, reach the right arm up, twist, turn, either bring the elbow to the outside of the knee or wrap it around your leg. Inhale, reaching up through the crown. Exhale, twist and turn as much as you can. This is one of the most potent postures in yoga. This twisting is like rinsing and releasing all kinds of toxins, waste from abdominal organs, glands, all of them in your torso. Inhale, stretching up. Exhale, slowly counter twist to the other side. And let's change to the other side. Sole of the foot flat on the floor. Interlock the fingers 2 inches below. Pull your torso towards your thigh. Flex the foot of the straight leg. Take your right arm behind you. Inhale the other arm up. Exhale, twist. Bringing elbow to outside of knee or around the knee. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to increase that twist. And breathe. Obviously, breathing is slightly impaired. But the capacity for releasing toxins, waste, bringing fresh arterial blood as we release the twist, comes back into the center to nourish all of these important organs. And extend the leg out in front and bring yourself into Shavasana. The other thing that I've mentioned to you about the blocks that I'm just going to show you one more time, if you have them or if you have a bolster, place them up against your butt at the tops of your legs and relax your legs. Bring your heels together, let your feet splay out. Cover yourself up if you need to. Turn your palms up in the open and receiving position. Separate the biting surfaces of the teeth. Relax the jaw. Let your body be soft and heavy. So in this class, I'm hoping that you received the idea of, instead of having your senses hyperactive in the external world, I invited you to create an awareness and a deeper connection with your inner world. I also ask you that if you experienced a lot of negative self-talk or judgmental self-talk on your mat, just to become aware of that. Because if it's going on your mat, it's probably going on off the mat as well. And there are things that we can do that are productive, and there are things that we think that are counterproductive, just a bloody waste of energy and time. I don't think we should waste any more time. And doing nothing is not a waste of time. Be clear about that. You're a human being, you're not a human doing. You need to take care of yourself. And sometimes that means shutting down all of what's out there and pulling in all of your life force to examine, connect with, and really feel the potency, the power, and the peacefulness of your inner self. Thank you so much for coming out to share your practice. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.